What we're living in today is a corporation. America, and I would say the West, this Western-based system that we're in right now, is a corporation. It is not a country in the way you would think it's a country.
To both of you, to General Milley, do you think that these documents should be turned over to the United States Congress? And do you think that both General Donahue and Admiral Vasely should testify before Congress?
Sure, I absolutely do. I believe transparency. You're the board of directors for this corporation called the American government. And I believe that you're entitled to those within the bounds of classification. You're the board of directors for this corporation called the American government.
And this is not a place for you or anybody for that matter to believe that you can actually build a sustaining culture. It was never meant to be that. Hey, I just wanted to add another piece to this video here, on this whole topic of how black culture is dying. And I will emphasize, as I emphasized in a much longer video, that it's not just black culture, it's everybody's culture. But for the sake of this video, we're talking about black folks. And I wanted to give a couple of examples. Some months ago when we moved out here, out in the West, my son and I, we decided to do it by car. And one of the things I wanted to do was to go and visit some black owned soul food restaurants. There's certain towns I heard that their soul food was on point and all of that. And I was like, okay, cool. Let me find. And we get there and I found maybe a couple, the ones I found, they either had very low ratings, and this is just a few of them. I mean, I was expecting to see a whole bunch of them in this one particular town, and it wasn't really that many at all. And then one I called, they were about to close, but it was very, very difficult to find a soul food restaurant like, the stuff I grew up with, seeing. And what I did find is, you can find Jamaican restaurants all over the place, in other cultures, but soul food restaurants, you don't see them like you used to see them, when I was coming up, and the same thing goes for, let's say, black owned record stores. Well, who listens to records these days? But that was a genre of business that we own. You had a string of mom and pop record stores that were owned predominantly by black folks at one point, but you don't see those now. But what's taking over? What's taking over is businesses, the much larger businesses. If people want to buy music, they don't go to record stores now. They go to Amazon, they go to iTunes, they go to Spotify, they go, to their cousin and them, to download this music. They go to AI, and so it's businesses that this America the corporation, it doesn't care about the preservation of your culture. And so this is why this place is a place where cultures come to die. Another example, I mentioned restaurants. Oh, bookstores. There used to be a time where you can always count on a certain part of town having black owned bookstores. We don't see those anymore, and that is due to the fact you have companies like Amazon and some of these other companies out here where people buy books that way. So again, this system that we call America is not interested in preserving and protecting your culture. They never have been and they never will. There was something else I wanted to say on that as far as, so like, for example, going back to restaurants, for example, when you talk to certain Chinese people, they will tell you that the Chinese food that you get at restaurants here, it's not authentic. It's not real Chinese food. In other words, they have to Americanize it for the American palate. But if you really want authentic Chinese food, or if you really want authentic Mexican food, you literally have to go to those countries so that, you can really get the full experience. But America isn't the place to do that. You're not going to get immersed in any culture here. because it's a corporation, it's a business. It's like me going to the mall, going to the food court and believing that I go to the restaurant that serves Mexican food, I'm immersing myself in Mexican culture. That's just as stupid as that sounds. That's how it is just in the greater America. It's America Inc. This whole notion about America being a melting pot, that's always been touted as something, a positive, a unique feature or characteristic of the American culture. But again, I think the whole concept of America being a melting pot, it has another side to it that, is not really that good at all. And that is the fact that, this melting pot is a conglomeration of different cultures. You have African cultures, all within all the many African cultures. You have that, you have Ghana, you have Igbo, you have people from South Africa, whatever. You have people from Kenya, then you have people from the Pacific Islands, Hawaii, the Philippines, and, all over the place, right? Then you have people, Mexicans, you got Central America, South America, and all of that. And you mix all of these seasonings together. And so you're ending up with a very interesting stew, or, in this melting pot, but it's never quite Mexican, or it's never quite African. It's never quite this. So each one of those flavors have to kind of clash with each other, where they're in numbers of cases, they even cancel each other out. You know what I'm saying? So we have to understand that this American, or I would say Western culture, it's a business. You are literally, like I'm sitting right now, pulled over, I'm in a business park. All right. You got all these different businesses here. People don't live here. They don't come here to have a home and have family come over and then they having all this stuff. They don't do that here. They come here to work. They come here to do business, conduct business, make money, and bounce. That's why they come here. They don't come here to have a home. The homes are across the street, which you can't see. That's where people do that. And so you have to, as a people, we have to begin to see America just like that. This is not a place where we come to discover, find, or to build a culture. It's a place where cultures come to die, and the American corporation culture is king at the end. And if you're a person trying to blend in that corporate culture with your base culture, it's never going to work at the end. Case in point, just look at hip hop. We're claiming, as black people, we're claiming hip hop as our own, but we don't control hip hop. That's a perfect example. Now, hip hop, we may have inspired it, but we don't control it. The controllers are the people who run this country. You understand what I'm saying? Now, if we were in our home base, wherever we come from, it would be something that more often than not, we would control it. You understand what I'm saying? We would control the distribution, who gets to get on, who are the popular ones versus the ones who are not popular. We set the standard and all of that. But here, it's it's American corporation, American Inc., that determines the sexy reds and all these other people to get up there. You understand what I'm saying? It's not really the people, it's the corporation. So again, I know I'm sounding like a broken record here, but it bears repeating. America is not a place to come to build a culture. It's a place where cultures come to die. Now, starting with black folks, let's start with the Africans that were brought over here as slaves, okay? The main reason, so my first point is, the main reason why you as a black individual was brought over here, you were brought over here to work, to do labor. That is the main reason. These people that brought us over here in slavery did not bring us over because they were lonely. They didn't bring us over because they, wanted some little spice in their, in their social experiment or whatever that they were doing out here. I'm tired of looking at all these white people. We need to have some black people over here. Let's go over to Africa and let's get some Africa up in here. No, absolutely not. The main reason why you were brought over here was to do manual labor. There was no love associated with that. There was no plan to free you. There was no plan to educate you and to make you a better person. There was no plan in that. You were brought here to pick cotton, to pick tobacco, to work and die. That's what you was brought over here to do. And more specifically, you were brought over here to do work, manual labor, to cook, clean, sing and dance when it was demanded, to entertain, and to be sex slaves. That is the reasons, those are the main reasons why you were brought over here. Now, I want that to settle in your mind for a second, because as we continue, this is going to make sense. And we have to dispel all the cap that's out here where a lot of our people believe that there's some thread in the Constitution or the Bill of Rights or the Declaration of Independence that they owe us. They owe us as a people. That's not how they think over here. When you were brought over here, you were brought over here as an investment. These HBCU schools, why is it that HBCU schools are still struggling in 2024? Well, let me answer that for you. It ain't because we don't have the right president in office. It's not because, well, they ain't signed this bill. It's because you are not part of the ultimate plan. The United States is a corporation. It is an Inc. incorporation in Delaware. If you can look it up, it is a corporation. The United States is a corporation. All right. I don't know how many ways I can say that to you. It's a corporation. This ain't me just saying this. It's a corporation. It's a business. And you were brought in only to obey and sit and stand, entertain, and that's it. That's why you were brought in. That's it. So this whole notion that we have that somehow we can sit up here and we can we got FBA culture here, and we got our own culture here. You can live in that fantasy world all you want, but that ain't going nowhere. You understand what I'm saying? It's like this. I want you to think like this. It's almost like trying to build a culture in a shopping mall. How the heck is that even possible?